Alright guys, welcome back. We are looking at the top end now. We're going to go ahead and get the top end together, but a valuable lesson to be learned in this video, and I want you to pay attention. This is something that I was unaware of that I had to learn, and with the help of a couple people and a little bit of research on Google, I figured it out. So I ordered my WSM top end kit. Comes with pistons, rings, bearings, and all that. Bearings is the key word here. So when I went to put it together the other day, I noticed something. That the bearing that I got in the 650 kit would not fit. And I thought, oh shit, somebody put the wrong bearings in the package. That's not actually what happened. What happens is early model 650 cranks have a smaller diameter hole for the wrist pin bearing. And I was unaware of this. Now there's a couple options, a couple reasons. The factory used raceless bearings here, where you just have 32 or 31 of the needles you put in there with the wrist pin, no cage, a cageless design. So I tried calling around and stuff, and I ended up talking with this guy here, where I ordered the parts from mxstuff4u.com. And once I realized, I found it on eBay, but once I realized he had a site with all kinds of Seadoo stuff, and he helped me out. He said, this is what you're probably going to need right here. 010-121. That's a WSM needle bearing. And this is a caged bearing, but it's 23 millimeter size. Fits right in there. So somebody told me, oh, you can't get cageless bearings for that, or you can't get a caged bearing. You have to use the needles. And I thought, that's stupid. I don't want to do that. I got the, the cage right here. And then another guy said, yeah, they didn't make that. The early models, then they went to caged models, and nobody had an answer. But I found this site here, this guy, his name is Tom, and he sold me these. I got them almost right away. I mean, what, 2 or 3 days from wherever he lives, Nevada, Illinois, I don't even know. Pearl City, Illinois. So, pretty cool. So now I have, these are 23 millimeter, which fit in the rod, okay? The ones I have that don't fit are 24 millimeters. So roughly with my micrometer from China, if you measure and you find that you have the one that's close to 24 millimeters, you're going to need to order 010-121 WSM bearings. Price from this guy is really, really good. So go on his site and order directly from his site if you want, or through eBay, whatever. But so that's where I'm at right now. So now I got to go inside and order another set of these for my 720, because I thought, okay, maybe the big ones here are for the 720. Nope. And from my understanding, I guess this crank that I ordered did not come out of the same year as this, so I didn't know that the first year they decided to change that. No idea. So now I have all the stuff to put the top end together. We're going to put that together, but that's a note to self. 23 millimeter will fit in there, 24 millimeter will not. And you could use the needle bearings if you wanted to. Not the ones that came out, because they're going to fall all over the place and you want to replace them. But if you find new Seadoo needle bearings, which are going to be more expensive than this, you're going to have a hell of a time putting them in there. 32 of them, grease the inside, get it in where they don't fall into the motor. Another guy I talked to, he even tried selling me the rubber. Seadoo made a rubber piece with slits in it, and what you do is you get this crank like this, and you put this on here, and that keeps the deck flat so that if you drop those bearings, they don't fall in the motor. Guess what happens if it falls in there and you can't get it out? You're tearing apart your bottom end, and that sucks. So I already got the new crankshaft seals on here. I got the case, Permatex back together. So let's go ahead and put the top end together. And look who decides to show up. What's up, Dolan?
Hey, just another day in paradise.
I remember in like video number 1 you said, this will never run. This is a fucking piece of shit.
I guess I was wrong.
Yeah, look at that. So Dolan this weekend, or next weekend, is going to be riding purple right there because the motor's going in green. So Dolan wants to ride the purple one because he remembers day 1 when it wasn't going to run, right? You'll never get that running, remember?
I think I do remember saying something like that.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. So there's Dolan. Dolan will be out there on the weekend. Okay, a couple things to note. Use a lot of oil. And remember, I showed you this garbage here because this is what I break the motor in with, but that's really good to use. You hold the bearing over the motor, dump it on there, lube the bearing so if it falls in the bottom end, no big deal. But you want to lube all these parts really good when you put them together. Now on pistons, sometimes, most all the time, see, the piston shows standard size, or it'll have your bore size. And then there's an arrow. The arrow always points towards the exhaust. Why? Because the way the exhaust ports are, if I could see that exhaust port there, it's in there. Okay, that exhaust port turns into like a guillotine for the ring openings. Here's the ring gaps over on this side, and there's pins on the piston that keep them from spinning, okay? But if you have those openings on this side with the piston backwards, the second that piston comes down, it's gonna chop it right off. So the arrow always goes to the exhaust. Your clips here, your, what are they called? Circlips, have to be facing up. If I could see, there's an opening, and I probably won't be able to see it here. Hold on. Move this without spilling anything. You probably won't be able to see it, but there's, you know, you want the gap on that circlip to be facing up so that it doesn't accidentally catch in here while it's running at high RPM and spit that out, because you're going to have catastrophic engine damage. So make sure you turn the, you know, it's a C-clip like this. Once you put that in, turn it so it's this way, up. So it's opposite of the thing here. One more thing, these rings here, these I've had really good luck with these RIK. I think they're Japanese, I don't know what they are. But, so these rings, there's two of them. One has a chrome edge, and the chrome edge always goes on top. The chrome edge ring is weird. It's like it's like offset, so it only fits on one way. You can see here is like a, see the little zigzag offset there on the edge of the ring over here? That only fits one way with that pin. So when it's on the piston with the pin, you know, it fits nice. Okay, so that's very important. And if you forget all that, it comes in the package and tells you. Okay, but that's just also it's got the ring end gap. So I'm not going to go. That was nice, Austin.
My bad.
So it's not going to the ring end gap. You want to put the ring in the cylinder without the piston on there, and then you can measure. Mine's pretty close. I'm not going to go into that right now, but you want to make sure you have the appropriate gap size so that the ring is not gapped too much with a bore that's verging, needing to be bored up one size. You don't want it too close where the ring is smashed in there. Other than that, we're going to put the rest of this together now. Now, before we bolt them on, why did I put the red exhaust manifold all nasty on this nice new painted motor? It's because in order to get this or these jugs aligned perfectly to where the bolts are in there perfectly straight, you take the manifold, and you don't need washers or gaskets yet, but you get this thing on just about hand tight. What that's good, I usually put 2 bolts in each one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that keeps, you know, naturally your cylinder heads lined up so the bolts will drop in, going pretty easily. And also, you see these bolts, you don't want these to be off a few millimeters when you put that head on, because then this doesn't seal, you know, it doesn't get on there perfectly straight. So just get this on hand tight till you drop the bolts in first down there. Then you can take this manifold off once those are torqued. Come on, man, what a pain in the ass. I've been out here for about an hour and a half trying to figure out, you know, these gaskets here. I even tried putting Permatex in there, getting them. They won't stay in the damn groove to get the head on. Never had that kind of problem before. So I got them in a freezer now. I'm going to see if I can get them in the freezer, maybe, you know, like the wear ring, and it'll get smaller. And they might lay in the track just long enough where I can get the head on. That's a pain in the butt, man. Oh my God, like a total jerk. Whew, here I am at about 9:30. You know, I didn't want to do this, but I had to use like half a tube of Permatex and fill that channel where the gaskets sat and pack them in there. Looks so stupid. Like, I mean, whatever. That's the only way I can get it in. I really think the gaskets were too big, because when you put them in there, I know they're supposed to be pretty tight, but they were not fitting. So that looks like shit, but I can peel it off tomorrow. I'll hit it with some white spray paint so it don't look so hideous. Now, here's the best part. I broke a bolt torquing it. I don't know what happened. 18 foot-pounds of torque is what they say here. And I double checked, but that one snapped off. I think what happened was when I drilled it out the first time, I think the threads were, I mean, I don't know, because I was wrenching it in there and it snapped. So here's what I'm going to do. The top end's on. I'm going to get my buddy to put something in here, and that's going to be a one-timer. I've seen him do it before. I don't know, helicoil, I don't know what it's called, but we're going to have to drill into there. Which you can't see. We have to drill into there and impact this thing in there. It'll stay in there one time. When you take it out, it's not going to go back in unless you rethread it, but whatever. So, I guarantee this motor still runs though. That's what's important. So I got the head on, I got the pistons in. Nice and, well, now it's got some sort of compression here. Yeah, look at that. I can still turn it by hand though without plugs in it. Nice and smooth. Can't really see in there. No light. But anyways. Alright. So what I do usually, when I'm done here, I usually dump oil in the top plugs here, plug holes, and keep turning it over and over again to make sure that, it all stays lubed in there when I first fire it up. So I wanted to finish that for you. This is the 657. Top end is done. Your results may vary. You can do it however you want. This right here, these gaskets, that sucked. But I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna rip all this off when it's dry, so it'll come off. I'm gonna rip it off when it's dry, and I'm going to hit it with some paint so it doesn't look bad. But hey, at least I know that'll never leak out of there. Hell, I have so much Permatex in there, I might not even have to put the damn screw in here. It might be just fine. I mean, man, that's beat in there like heavily. But I'll put the screw in there just to make sure. So that's where we're at right now on the 657. The motor itself is on, or is complete. Now I'm going to sand this line down here. See, I never got that out yet. I'm going to sand that off, make it flush. I'm going to put the rotary valve timing on, put the intake back on after I rebuild the carbs. Then comes the magneto cover here. Got to paint that up, put the magneto cover on. Set the ignition timing there, and then I'm going to put the PTO back on, and son of a bitch, I put the exhaust on. This thing will be ready to go in the jet ski. I hope to have this thing fired this weekend, so if you're watching this now, in a couple days I should have a video of it running. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate you watching, and maybe you'll learn something from my idiotic whatever here. But I know it's going to run.